Hi, I'm Chris from Airwindows, and I have a big pile of experimentation for you today, because what we're doing today is a little thing called YLowpass. Now this is the result of the work I was doing on Biquad Plus, and it's a kind of first attempt at what will eventually be the advancement of the Z series of plugins. But I got a little more interesting with this one, and I'll show you what that's about. Firstly, I'm going to move off camera because my demonstrating this is going to be more complicated than usual. In fact, it's a giant pile of cluster synth, and the reason is I thought I would demonstrate this plugin by making it sound like my favorite analog synthesizer. So I've just spent some hours setting all of this stuff up so that I can play both of them at the same time. Unfortunately, my controller keyboard is behind me so far, so I'm working on that. In future, I'll be able to demonstrate this stuff more easily. But for now, bye. You're going to hear the thing now. So, this, should I grab that? No, I'll just yell. That's the analog synth. And the thing about that, which is an Alpha Juno, is that the filter distorts in a really interesting way. It's got a bit of overdrive, and that's what I'll be modeling. I needed to run two instances of YLowpass into each other in order to do it, but let me show you what I can do. Sorry about the chair squeaking. So that's the real synthesizer. And here is Bespoke's oscillator going into a couple of instances of YLowpass. Again, here's the real one. And then synth. So as you can hear, these are the notes where the Alpha Juno kind of honks and makes an intense tone. The kind of stuff you could use on dub techno or whatever. Real one? And the oscillator going into the filters. And yeah, that's the plugin. And this would be that's the Alpha Juno. So that's all fussing with different settings on this guy. You probably saw it moving like you can see the controllers going there. And what you're hearing here is all free, like including the synth, because if you're doing this stuff with Bespoke, as I'm demonstrating it with, that means that the filter can just be tacked on to this oscillator, and the oscillator is part of Bespoke, and you can have that for free too. And if we go back to the real one, and yeah, that has its own quality. It's maybe not an exact duplicate, but this was not designed to be specifically an Alpha Juno. This was designed to be a good sounding filter, and we're going to show some more things about it too. Like, let me take this knob and move it over to this thing, and then take this and, let's see, shut that off, meaning that now we're looking at something else. It is drum player. And strangely, when you run audio into the reset of this, you wind up getting little spikes in the output. But listening to this funky thing, what we can do is hear what the raw filter sounds like, because some of these features we have not talked about yet. And it is time. So as you can hear, these are smoothed filters, so it's not getting any unpleasant zipper noise. On any control. Here, let me move over here. I will have better control systems before terribly long, but you're going to have to bear with me because all of my controls are like behind and around me in all kinds of weird ways. I'm in this evolution from heavily analog-based classic synthesizer studio to basically bespoke and plugins, and that makes stuff weird, but my progress will be of interest to people who would like to run this kind of thing. Less reverb. So one of the things we can do with YLowpass is we can run a bunch of distortion in there, because that's part of what this filter is about. It's going to let you do some intensely distorted sounds. Again, I don't know why resetting the randomness on these causes a pop in the output, because this is not actually an analog device. This is all a DAW. So there are some mysteries here. That said, it's all good, and let's keep playing with it. This filter is what you're able to download now. Everything else, like the bespoke and the environment and so on, all of that is just also available to you. But the filter is what I'm posting. And we haven't even gotten into some of the stranger results yet. So as you can see, we can throw a lot of distortion on here. We could lower the resonance. This is all variations on a single stage of biquad, which is why I had to double it up to get the Juno style tone. It's probably closer to, I don't know, a Mogi kind of thing as its default state. And I think the Roland is a little steeper. But we've got some additional weirdness going on here too. I might need to throw a tone in here, so bear with me. I'm going to do my best to demonstrate all of this, but man, it's a lot to keep track of. Anyways, Res Edge does an interesting thing. We've got a resonant filter. But as we increase Res Edge, it does a strange thing to the way that the distortion and resonance combine. It's going to start altering the distortion in a way that produces weird and unnatural sounds. Kind of similar to some of the stuff that I'm going to be doing with Tube. And the result's kind of like this. Let's crank up that resonance and Res Edge. You'll notice we're getting a nasty kind of crackly overtone on there, and that's by design. It's meant to get raunchy. It actually eats a little bit more CPU every step of the way because this is using the concept of a power function without optimizing it. The way this works needs the full-on math power function to work. It's going to throw in asymmetrical distortions and a bunch of strange effects. And you'll hear more and more of them the farther I crank it. And then I can dial it back down again. And around 0.1 is actually our neutral setting. And the lesser than 0.1 settings on Res Edge are actually inverse of this crazy saturation. So they're going to go a little more asymmetrical. They're going to be strange and different in this way. And that's the sound that I go to when I'm looking to get like that Alpha Juno kind of sound. And if we have a nice resonant tone here, we can start playing with Res Edge, and you'll see what happens when this gets rather silly. We're getting a whole added overtone on there. Here, let me make it more interesting. A little reverb on there too. And then we can continue to ramp it up. And as you can see, we're getting that effect on even a very faint, delicate input sound. Like if I switch that over from dry wet, that's actually being created by this. But the output of the filter, it's like a completely different thing. And that's what YLowpass is all about. It's about using this edge control to do weird and unaccountable things. If you are turning the res edge up all the way, we can get some unusual effects going on there. It really kind of sputters and freaks out in interesting ways. And there, now we have a drum and bass track just out of a single patch and a single filter. And then we can turn this randomizer. If people want, I can tell you how to do this stuff too. But this is basically just an event canvas throwing in a randomizer on this. And just because I can, right-clicking on anything in the plugin in Bespoke gives you an LFO. So there you have it. A strange machine built out of Bespoke and producing a pile of gnarly noise. This is essentially generative bonkers drum and bass. Just cause why not? In fact, while we're at it, Gonna add a beat to it, because that's just another thing I can do. Or I could take that beat back out again. I don't like it after all. Let's put a bunch of hats on there. Oh, except for I'm not hearing them for some reason because they're too quiet. That might be too loud. Doesn't matter all that much though, we're just playing. Take those hi-hats back out again, because I feel like building this out of just the drum break stuff. Let's shut that off and let's make it more staccato. Again, we're going back to just manually fooling with this. And now we've got a randomly arrived at little gnarly drum and bass groove. With a nice heavy bass. And we can fool with this. Let's see, it's starting at 152. So we can make it go really, really slow. And see what we get when we turn it back on again. So now we have a drum and bass groove using just YLowpass and driving it in bespoke with that capacity to put LFOs on literally everything. And YLowpass is generating this entire bass line all by itself out of the drum loop. This being the drum loop, this being YLowpass freaking out and losing its mind into a little galactic reverb that is also free, of course. And the reverb is going into seriously, so I can make it go even wider if I like. And all this shrieky noise is being generated by YLowpass alone into that drum sound. And then we'll clean up that edge. Clean up that resonance. And clean up that distortion. And you have just met Airwindows YLowpass. I'm going to continue to work on this kind of stuff because it's just a lot of fun and I'm making some progress on it. And again, this one, I needed to use two of them into each other to properly do the Alpha Juno style sound from earlier. But it's designed to get as much as it possibly can out of this strange algorithm based on a single biquad. So with luck, this is going to be useful for folks. That is certainly my hope anyhow. And on that note, I will say goodbye for now. I'll be probably making a variation on this on Monday, and I'm going to get into doing the music thing again when I can. Right now, I am mixing an album for somebody, so that's exciting, and when I'm done, I'll tell you what we got. For now, I'm keeping it on the down low. When it does actually come out, I'll tell people what it is. And thanks for bearing with me for this very long and strange episode of Airwindows demonstrating a plugin. And on that note, I'll talk to you later. But, oh yeah, all of this is funded by Patreon. If I didn't have Patreon, I wouldn't be here to do this stuff that is currently coming into focus and that I'm going to be able to do now. So I'm very grateful for that. That is an awesome thing. Anywho, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.